So today I'm here to make a journal with you, and I think this will be partially time-lapsed and partly real-time because I want to make this a little bit into a tutorial on how I make my journals. This journal will be my written catch-all bullet journal thing, so I hope to get back into that again because I fell off the bandwagon with journaling when I got busy. So I hope this will interest me again because I got a bit bored. First of all, I want to let you know that my husband and his friends are having a LAN party downstairs. So all the boys are here, 5 guys with their gaming PC, and they are playing games. And I think we're at day 5 or 6 right now. And they are a bit noisy. So if you hear any yelling or screaming or anything like that, or maybe naughty words in Dutch, that's because I am right on top of them. I'm upstairs, but they are right under me, and I have closed all the doors, but I think you might still hear them. So I hope that won't be a problem, but I don't want to wait to make this video, if you all understand. So I'm going to walk you through my supplies that I have right now on hand. Yesterday I bought some digital kits from ACdigitals, and I bought the Maggie Holmes Flourish kits, and I have spent all day cutting up all the ephemera. So this is the box full of Maggie Holmes ephemera. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I've cut everything up so I don't have to do that anymore, and this will be the main focus for my journal. I want to use this collection because I feel very inspired by it and feel very drawn to it, and that is what I need for my journal. So this is the box of ephemera that I'm going to use. It's all from the ACdigital kit Flourish from Maggie Holmes. Same goes for the papers. I have printed off all the pattern papers from the collection, so I'm going to pick from these papers. I have printed dotted paper on the back. I don't know if you can see it, but I really enjoy dot grid paper, so I have printed that on the back of all of these pattern papers. I used 120 grams printer paper, so it's a bit thicker and a bit better quality than the usual printer paper, so that's why it's such a big stack. And there is tons of pattern paper because these are all singles. It's crazy. But I'm going to pick some of these. I will trim off the white edges once I have picked the ones I want to use in my signatures, but we will get into that later. Then I also have some dot grid printed paper, so just dot grid on both sides. Then I have grabbed some doilies. Maybe I want to incorporate these in my signatures. I have grabbed some map paper because I thought that would look great with the collection. A bit more vintagey, and I could journal on this and stuff. I grabbed some book pages to use in my journal, some music sheet paper, and some brown packaging paper. And if I want to use this, I will rip it up on the right size with my ruler because I like ripped edges, and I think it will give a very nice look and feel in my book. And you hear the sound, it sounds amazing. So those are my papers for my signatures, and I'm going to make my cover from this box because this box has a built-in spine, and that is great, so I'm just going to use that. I can also make my journal from, you know, scratch and cut up to pieces, but I thought this would just be good enough, and it's a fat spine, so maybe I can use the journal for a long time. I don't know, I just really wanted to make a journal again, a big fat one, so I'm going to use this box as my cover. So what I like to do first is make my cover. And I know I want my journal to be A5-ish because one sheet of A4 folded is an A5. So that will make it easier on the cutting. So the only thing that I have to do is cut this box to the right size. So I'm first going to cut it open on one side. I'm going to take this side and just going to cut it open. Doesn't have to be because it just needed to be open, because this will be my spine. Now I'm going to measure this, and for that I am going to fold one of my dot grid papers, because I know this is the size I want my book to be. And now I have the size for my journal. So if you want to measure the size from your cover, you need to get behind of this score line, because this is your spine, so your book will go like this. So you need your pages to fit in there. So this is the size that I want to use. Now ideally I will just make some marks, and I think I'm just going to follow the line down there of the box, and then I'm going to put a pencil stripe there, one here and one here. So now I know at least how tall it needs to be, and if I'm putting it next to a score line from the box and I put a line down here, I know at least how wide it needs to be. So you can do this with any size of paper you want. It doesn't really matter. Just take your biggest paper and make your cover that size. I know this will be my biggest paper, so that's why I will make my cover that size. So now I have my lines, and now I can just cut the excess off. And a journal doesn't have to be perfect, you know, it's a handmade journal, so it doesn't have to be beautifully straight. I will measure this. Let's see. That is about 15 centimeters from the spine. I will take another ruler. This one. Yeah, it's about 15 centimeters, so I'm going to mark that. 15 over here. If you measure it on 3 points, you will get a straight line. If you're going to make a line, I don't know, that sounds weird. Like this. And I will turn it over, trying to be in frame, and then I will just put a straight line. So now I know where I need to cut. Then this is about 21 centimeters, so I'm going to take it on 21.5, because I want to have a little bit of room around my journal. Measure 21.5 from here, and I will do that also here, 21.5 centimeters. So now I am going to draw how tall my book must be. And then on this side, I believe it was 15. 15. So on this side I will also do 15 centimeters, because I know I have to cut off a little slither of my papers because they're not printed. I'll also draw a line here. I think I'm rethinking my measuring. I think I want my cover to be not 21.5, but 21, just because I know that I have to remove a little bit of the paper. So I think this way. I put it on 21, it will probably look better. So I'm just going to reposition this line like this. So now all I have to do is cut on these 3 lines, and then I have my cover complete. So I will speed through this little part because no one has to see me cutting. So now I can throw this away or reuse it for something else, I don't know yet. But this will be my journal. And this will be my cover. And usually I would start decorating my my covers on the outside and on the inside, but I haven't decided yet on which papers I want in my signatures. So I think I will do my signatures first, and then after that I will make my cover, or at least decide on what I want in my signatures, and I can fold them later, but then at least I have an idea. Because I also have these beautiful papers printed like this. I didn't put anything on the back of these. I don't know if I want to put them in or just keep them or use them on the cover of my book. I'm not sure yet. Although I might put in this one in a signature. This one I don't know. This one definitely not. This one I think it would look pretty if you would journal on this one. Put this one in, and I would take these apart. So I think I can make 7 signatures. Oh, I will grab a journal for reference. So this is one of my junk journals I made, and this is how I've sewn it. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signatures in here. Let's see. 6 signatures. And I think this is 1 time as big as this one. So I think I can put in 9 signatures. And these signatures have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 papers. So let's see. If I put in 9 signatures with 8 papers, because this paper is a little bit thicker. Let's go for that. I can always change it. So I'm gonna write that on something. 9, 8 papers. So I don't forget that I decided on that. So that means that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Move this aside. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3 of these. I did grab a bunch of those. Of these. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, and then 20 of these papers. So if I'm gonna split it up into 9, I think it will be an odd number, and 2 is 9. So we'll set these aside. Then there are 3 signatures that are going to get the music sheets. I need to make more room for myself. Gonna move this side because it's in my way. Okay. Laying out the 9 signatures, which is quite a challenge because I don't have that much desk space because all my journal supplies are on my desk. I will also not decide on order right now. I will do that later, but I want to have my pattern papers chosen that I want in my signature. So I want 3 of these. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. So I think I will put these in a different section than the music paper here. I hope it's not boring to watch this, but I was planning on making some sort of a tutorial kind of video. So I'm not going to count my doilies as pages, but I want to have a doily in every signature because it looks pretty. One there. Need more doilies. Then these 2 don't have nothing at all yet. So, oh, come on, doily. You can do this. You can do this, doily. Yes. So my journals are a combination of scrapbooking, bullet journaling, and just venting. I also journal for my mental health, and that is why I don't share my journal online. But if you want me to share some, I can probably find some pages that are shareable on the internet. Okay, so then I want this map paper, definitely with one of these signatures because it's still blank, and I also want a book page. I'll put that aside. So I want it with this one and the book page, and I think I also want it with these ones. These ones. And the book page. This one. And book page. And then this one and the page. So then this one has 1, 2, 3 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. Now I will go to, I want book pages in these. I don't know. I will go to my pattern paper. I don't remember where I left it. Probably somewhere here. And I will look through these to see which ones I definitely want to use in my journal. There's so many, so I will go through this before picking. Maybe I want to use this one on the cover. I'm not sure. I think I want to use this one. I'm going to put that with one of the... So I want to use this one, definitely. Put that here. There are so many pretty pages. I'm just going through this. This would look great on the cover. I think I also want to use this one. Did I forget the signature? Is there one underneath? Yes, there is. I have too little space, guys. I need a book page for this one. So I'm going to use that one. Then all of them have some kind of different paper in there. Maybe I want to use this one on the cover because it's so pretty. It's not as easy as it seems though. Picking pattern for your journal. I also really love this paper. I love all of these papers though, so let's see. I hope you can see a little bit. I have so little space. That one in there. Definitely want to use this one. I don't want to use this on the cover though, but I think it would look great with this signature. So I decided on my cover papers. I'm gonna use these for the cover. So I think I will just speed you through this now, and I will put some papers together, and then after I did everything I will come back to tell you. So I'll just speed this process up. So I sorted my papers. I don't know how much I've got out of this because I don't know how much I've been out of frame, but I will go with you through the signatures once I'm done. It's just me getting a feel for how much I'm going to use, and I picked my cover papers. I don't know if I cut this out, but these will be my cover papers. And now I want to rip up this paper to a size that will fit into my journal. So that is what I'm going to do right now, and I will definitely speed you up through this process because I have to rip 9 pieces of this, and it will just be, you know, not fun to look at. But then you know what I'm going to do next. I've made 9 pieces of these, so I'm going to add these to my journal. I'm going to definitely use these smaller pieces with an atlas paper piece. So then this one has now a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages, and I went for 8 pages, right? I believe I did. So I will put this one aside. So I prepared my craft mat. And I want to use these papers for my cover. This is my cover. So I'm going to put my embellishment box aside because I don't need it right now. I need inside paper. I haven't chosen 2 papers for the inside. I have chosen for the outside, but what do I want to put on the inside cover? So I've chosen my papers. These papers are not big enough, so I will figure something out to do on the sides of the pages. I think I will use these leftover papers and I will collage them on and then wrap it around so I don't see that, but then I have a craft paper border. I think I will like that. So for the cover I will use gel medium or heavy gel medium, depends on how much there's left in my bottles because I'm running low on gel medium. So I will put my papers on the inside and I will put my papers on the outside, but first of all I will start with these. Maybe I need to sand this a little, but I don't feel like it. So I'm going to adhere some craft paper to the sides of the book. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. So I will fast you forward through this too, because then you can just see me cut and paste my cover together. cover. Now on to my signatures. I made some boo-boos with the cover, but that's okay. It's just a cover. So I'll take my cutting thingy. Yeah, so with the cover I made some boo-boos and I put on an extra layer of matte gel medium on the outside because this will be my everyday carry, and there will probably come some liquid on it, you know, like water or coffee or something. So I want to protect it a little bit more, and it helps to make it more sturdy. So that is drying, because before I start sewing in my signatures the cover has to be completely dry, otherwise I will bend and move the paper and all that good stuff. So I have a lot of gel medium on my hands. But let's move on to the signatures. So what I will do per signature is first take out the pattern paper that I have chosen, and I will cut off these white strips. Then I will fold it in half and organize my signature as I want to, and then we'll do this signature by signature. So I'm going to fast forward through this again, simply because that is easier. And then I will be back with you once I have completed all my signatures. Of course, you will see the whole process. I stopped filming yesterday after making my signatures because my cover wasn't dry yet. It was past my bedtime. Really had to go to bed. And I thought it was a perfect opportunity to just let it dry. So you see these books laying here under this big book. Here are my signatures. I thought it would be a great idea to just flatten them, to flatten the paper, especially the Kraft paper, because it was all warpy. But here are my signatures for in my journal. So here are my signatures and they are completed, and I showed you how I made them. So that's in here, and then I have put my cover in this book to flatten it, to let it dry. So now my cover is also ready for some signatures to get sewn in. So it's very important that you let your cover dry completely. About, I think it takes about a day or something to let it dry. And now it's straight because of the heavy books, which is also really, really good. So now I am going to fold my cover on the crease lines. And I'm going to do this quite slowly because I don't want to break the paper. I'm just going to work it a little until it folds. I'm going to do this for both sides. In the 90-degree corner. So I think this is good. Also, I will work in better once I use the book, of course. So, and I will also do that on the other side. So I'm really excited for this journal to be finished, and I want to start it. I have watched some of my own old videos, funnily enough, about my creative journaling, and I really should post more videos about my creative journaling. But the thing is that I journal very private stuff, stuff I don't want to share on the internet. So that's why you don't see my personal journal or my creative journaling, because it is very private. But if I decide to share some of it, I will show you what I did before. I really think I can find some pages that are not as personal, but that's why I don't share it, because people read your journaling online, and really I don't want that. But I mean, if it was an insurance that people won't read it and would just look at how I made it, then I would share it. But people read it, and I think they will judge me for what I'm writing about, and I don't want that. So this is the cover, and it's nice and sturdy because of the gel medium. So I do like a cover that warps a little bit or works a little bit. I don't need it to be completely hard. So now I take my signatures and I'm going to put that inside, and let's see how much space I have left. So if I put it in like this, there's still a lot of space left if I close it like this, but I like it that way because I collage in here, and my journals, I can grab it. I can grab one that was made. So yeah, this was a Leuchtturm 1917 B6 size I bought and journaled in. This is a sticker from Brie from Documented Journey, but look, my journals fatten up, and I haven't even finished this book. I will not finish it because I stopped journaling in May and it's August 1st right now, so I will not finish this journal. But here are the pages that are left. So there are not that many pages left. I think 20 pages. But it gets really, really bulky. And this is thin paper. And I was quite okay with the collaging. So that is why I will leave some extra space in this journal just because I know how I journal and I like to stick in photos and ephemera and stuff. So now on to the part where I'm going to make holes and prepare my signatures for them to get sewn in. And what I like to do is I like to take my signature, the biggest one that I have. Let's see. Oh, it fits in beautifully. And I don't mind this brown paper to stick out because I think that gives a very nice look. Did I cut them right? Yes, it fits in perfectly. And I like the brown paper sticking out the sides because it gives a more organic, vintagey feel, which I like. So I have also made this one, and these pages are fitting in there perfectly. So yeah. I'm going to make my holes. What I like to do first is I'm going to measure my spine. I work in centimeters because I'm European, I'm Dutch. So I can't tell you how many inches this will be because simply my head doesn't work like that. I don't understand it. I have learned along the way while crafting to craft in inches, but if I need to measure something that's logical to me, I will use centimeters. So my spine is, I can give you the measurements. My spine is almost 2.5 inches. So I'm going to divide that up in 9 equal spaces. So I think I will fast forward you through this again because this is me just measuring in this cover, and I'm going to use a pencil because I'm going to make lines and I'm going to put marks on where I'm going to put the holes. But I will come back later and I will explain my measurements, but for now I need to figure it all out, so I am going to fast forward through you through this process. I did my measurements. I found out that with 9 signatures, my measuring for my spine will be a bit off because it was a weird number, but that's okay. So it will not completely be in the middle of my spine, but that's fine by me. So I've measured 0.6 centimeter from the score line. So make sure you are on the inside of the score line and not on the score line, because you're not going to be able to put anything on the score line. So every row is about 0.6 centimeters apart from each other, and I drew a line. Then I turned my cover and I measured the middle, which was 10.5 centimeters for me because my book is 21 or about 21. So I took the 10.5 mark, and then I counted 3 centimeters every step. both sides from that middle point. So that way I know where my holes need to be in the signatures, because that will be 10.5 in the middle and then 3 centimeters up and 3 centimeters down in steps. So that will mean that my signatures will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 holes, because every, I hope you can see it, I don't know, every line that crosses will be a hole. So you can make it more noticeable for yourself by drawing in a dot on those lines that cross, but I know what I'm going to do, so that's okay by me. But as you can see, it will not be completely in the middle on the outside, but that's okay. I'm good with this. So that means that I've measured out my cover. Now let's move on to the signatures. I haven't decided on an order in my book yet, so I'm going to decide that by which cover paper looks nice with the next one. But before I do that, I need to secure and straighten out my book. So I will take some binder clips and I will use these to secure my paper signature by signature. And the way I'm going to do that is I will take my papers and I will lay them out how I want them to be, so that they are straight or straightish. I want this one somewhere in the middle, same as the doily. This one. So this is a bit of a tedious job because I have different sizes of paper and I want it a certain way, but if you don't want it a certain way, then it's easier to do. So this is how I want my papers. I'm going to take a binder clip. Yeah. Taking a binder clip, and I'm going to put these sides together. So now everything will stay on its place while when I'm going to make the holes, and that's what I'm going to do for all the books right now. So I will speed this up again and then I will be back after that. So I've done all my signatures, I've clipped them together. Here they are. And now it is time to measure and make the holes in my book. But I'm going to decide on how I want my book to start and which signature is going to be which. So I'm thinking, which one do I want to start? If I open my book, what will look pretty with this? I think the houses. Yeah, going for the houses. After the houses, I want... Which one do I want after the houses? I think I want to go for maybe this one or this one. Or that one. Let's see. No, I think I want to go with this one after the houses. Then I will go with this one. After this one I want this pretty paper. After this pretty paper I want to do this one, followed by the The yellow one's looking really nice next to it. And I guess I take the this one. After that, the pink one. And then last but definitely not least, the blue one. I think I want to go for that. So if I flip through this, how does it look? I definitely want to start with the houses. I think I'm going to change this one out for this one. Then maybe this will look better. I always think this is the fun part of a journal, to just arrange everything how I want it. Yeah, I'm going for this. Then the blue one. After the blue one, I'm going to take the lemons. After the lemons, I think I will go for this one. And I will take this one, and I want this one to be last. So I think this is how I want to do it. Start with the houses. And this pretty floral. And this black one. The green one. The blue one. Lemons. Or do I like these two better? Yeah. I think I'm going to go for this. Yeah. So I have decided on how I want to put them in, and I like to start my binding with the last signature. So I'm going to turn this around, and I will start with my last signature. I'm going to put my journal here to keep it like that. I'm going to start with the last one, but first we need to make some holes. So I will just take this mat for protection of my desk, because as you can see maybe here, I have stuck holes in my desk. You can see them on all my photos, by the way, because I also take my photos for my projects here. I'll take one of these, but I always match my thread with a cover. I think that looks prettiest. Nope. Maybe this green. Nope. I also want it to stand out. Oh, this blue looks really nice. Or maybe, but it doesn't stand out from that. What a pink. Nope. This one. Nope. Yeah, I think I'm going for this color, blue. And I'll take you through that later, but then I have chosen my threads. My needle is in here. Now I have a Pokey Tool. This is an owl. I got this from AliExpress, very cheap. I think I paid €1 or something, but it's perfect for making holes in your project. But you can also use a Kraft big tool. I think Tim Holtz has that, because it's just for making holes. And I will start by making my holes in my cover. After that I will go measure my signatures and make the holes. But you can also make a template. If you don't want to measure it all the time, you can just make a template of one strip and put it in every book. But I like to measure it out, because then I can move it a little bit around with my ruler. You know, it feels like I have more control. So I'm going to poke my holes, and after that I will be back. So I punched my holes. You don't have to do as many holes as I did. I just think it looks really pretty on the spine if there is more binding. But you don't need as many holes as I did. You do need as many as this, because these are for your signatures. But these you could also divide it in 3, and then you just have 3 light holes like I did with this one. There are holes here, in the middle, and here. I just divided it in 3, but I really like the look of binding that is more with more thread or holes, or I don't know how to say that. I'm also going to, once I've bound the book, I'm going to wrap a piece of ribbon underneath the binding, and then that way I can close my journal with a piece of ribbon, but that will be underneath my binding, and I will not stick that down, because if I don't like it I can take it out again, but it will stay on my cover because it's underneath the thread that will be here. So that's that. I just made all the holes on all the points where my lines connected. So now my cover is ready, and I'm going to show you what I do next. Next I take my signature. This will be my front. I will open up my signature, leave it in a 90-degree corner thing. Where's my ruler? Oh. I don't like this ruler for this kind of measuring. And my other ruler. How can one lose 3 rulers? I have 3 different rulers. How do I lose all of them? Like, I'm sitting here. Ruler? Where are you? Oh yeah, here's one. So I will take my signature. This is the front of my signature. I will open it up. I will put my ruler in there. I will line it up with the book page that is biggest. Make sure that everything is well creased and in the crease, and then I'm going to mark where I want my holes to be. So I have measured that I wanted them on 10.5 centimeters, and then make jumps of 3 centimeters. So 1, 2, 3 means here, 1, 2, 3 here, now one last one, 1, 2, 3. And on this side I will do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that seems like good. So I have marked them with pencil. I'm going to check with my cover if it looks similar. It does. So I think I did good. And then the most important thing of all for poking holes in your signature is to do it in the crease. So how I like to do it, I like to hold my signature like this, like it's in a corner. So that way I'm sure I am at the crease. Beware of your fingers. I have done this multiple times. I'm always very aware of where my hands are, but I have seen people who are just put this thing right through the finger. So be aware of that. And then you just start making holes. I usually take one of them, doesn't really matter. Then I'm going to make sure that my paper is correct. And then I'm going to poke this right through the crease. This is how I like to do it. You don't have to do it this way, but I found that I have the most control. And now my hole is... Oh, camera, why don't you focus? Camera? My hole is perfectly on the crease of my signature. So that is how I do it. And if I take this one, I will keep my fingers so that the Pokey Tool can go right through that hole. Very mindful of that. And I always check once it gets out Then I take my hand to a safe distance. Like I said, this works for me. I don't know if this will work for you. This is how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. Just find a way that makes it easy for you to poke tools. I've seen people put their book in a magazine like this and poke holes. It just depends on what's easier for you. I found that this is easiest for me. So I am going to continue poking my holes. Oh no, I moved my page. Of course this happens in a YouTube video. These things always happen to me when I'm filming. Always. When I'm doing this on my own, like everything goes perfectly, but once I get filming, I don't know why, I make mistakes. So, I think it is on correctly. Again, try to not let that happen. Let's see if I put my Pokey Tool in here, does it go straight through it? Yeah, it does. Okay, so I'm good. Last one. So now I have made all my holes. I will leave my binding clips on. Now I'm going to take my thread. You can also make holes for all of them at once if you'd like, but this is how I like to do it. So I will take 3 times the threads the length of the book. So I hope you saw that. I do 1, 2, 3 times, and I cut it off. Cut my threads, take my needle. This is just a regular sewing needle. I think it's for lampshades and stuff. I just bought it at a local warehouse. So I'm going to thread this, and then I will take my little cover, and like I said, I like to start from the back, so my first signature will go in this last row of holes. Now it depends on what you want to do. If you want to have a bow on the outside, I will show you. This is another journal I made. This is my Happy Junk journal. I have videos on this on my channel, but this is what I mean. If you want to have string on the outside and make this into a bow, you can put charms on here, whatever you like, or bind it together like I did. It is a certain aesthetic and a certain look. Then you start from the outside. If you don't want this look, but you rather have something like this, then you start from the inside. So it just depends on what you want. I'm going to start from the inside right now because it's just this blue thin thread. And I also want to put a ribbon around it, and I don't want any charms because I hate charms when I'm writing in a journal. It just makes too much noise and, you know, all that good stuff. So I will start from the inside. But what I meant with the outside, you start from this way in if you want the string or the knot to be on the outside. If you don't want that, you start from the inside. So I'm going to start from the inside, and you can also decide if you want to have it on the outside. You can decide to start your signature sewing with this hole, so your strings will be a bit more on top. You can also do it a little bit lower, but usually people do it on the middle, and I will also do it right now in the middle. So I will take my threads and I will take this one up for you. As you can see, here are my holes, and this is my center hole. So I am going to take my needle and thread, put it through my center hole, take it all the way through. I'm going to leave a little tail. This is very important. Don't lose the tail, because this is how you're going to knot everything together so it stays. Then I take my middle hole for my last line of holes, and I'm going to push my needle through that too. Ideally I would keep it like this, but I don't know if I can show you good that way. So make sure you leave a little tail, otherwise you can't bind it. Then I go to the back, and I like to go through the top. So I will take my camera focus. I will take a hole right above that, throw my needle in there. I like to push it through the cover first before I put it into my signature, because I feel like that gives me a bit more control. And I like to hold my tail when I do this, or at least keep an eye on it. Put it through the same holes in the signature. Ooh, don't go away, little tail. I find that the sewing in the first signature is the hardest. And now I'm also talking with it, which is also a little thing. I think I can't find my holes. Like I said, I'm filming a video and now everything is just so hard all of a sudden. But I think you understand what I'm trying to do, or it's just because the paper moved and my holes aren't there correctly anymore. Let's see if that is the case, because that might be the problem. Why is this all of a sudden so hard for me? I also can't see my holes. Little tail. Oh, I'm really messing right now, guys. So this is real life journaling making. I'm not a professional at all. I think I have it now. Yes. Okay, let's try that again. And hopefully I will do better with the next one. So I like to also tighten the string a little bit as I go. Like I said, making sure this stays over here. If you want, you can also put a piece of washi tape here, because washi doesn't stick that much, but I don't like it because then I don't have any room anymore for this signature to move. Now I'm going to take the other hole. Remember, this is the top side of my journal, but I like to work this way. So I will take my needle, go through this hole, and then I'm going to line it up with the hole in the cover, push it through, like this, and then give it a bit of a pull, so there's some tension on the thread, but not too much because this one is still very loose. And then I go back. Now my thread is here, and I go to that hole in the same line. Pushing it a bit through the cover, because the cover is the hardest part to get your needle through, because it's also the thickest. I'm finding my holes. Yeah, so now I'm going to take it through. So now next, you are on, my book goes like this, you are on the top hole, and now you go back through all the holes. So you take this, but keep in mind that you don't run it through the thread again. And we're going to do this until we are at the bottom hole. So it's the same, you just go up and down. It's a very easy stitch. I think they call it the Pamphlet Stitch, although I think that stitches with just 3 holes. So going through that one. Going to skip the middle one because I will be ending in this hole. So I'm going straight to the one without the tail. I think I'm going to do that. Yes. All of a sudden I don't know how to sew this book anymore. Make tons of journals. And every time I pull a bit on my thread, so there is what tension on my thread, and it will be sewn in tightly in my book. So now next hole, next. I think this happened because I moved my paper a little. Yeah. So that one. I go one down. This is the bottom of the book. Don't worry, I will fast forward you through the others, but I wanted to explain how I did the sewing of the book. Then we go up again through the same hole and go down again through this hole, and then we go up again through this hole with the tassel, or with the little tail. I like to keep that away from where I want to put my thread through. What I like to do is to have one tail on one side of my thread and have a tail on the other side. So this is how it looks right now. It is sewn in there. This is how it looks. Ah, my camera died. So let's start over. This is how it looks on the inside. I have the 2 tassels and I like to put them on one on each side of the string, and then this is how it looks on the cover. Now what I like to do is to pull the string, not too hard but hard enough. And I like to check if there is tension on my threads. If there isn't, then I have to pull that harder, but there's tension on all my threads, and then I just tie a knot and do that too, maybe 3 times to make sure that it doesn't let go. Now you can cut these strings off. You can put a charm on one of these strings, or a die cut or something. I like to cut them off, but not too close to the spine, otherwise the knot will come off, or there's a big chance the knot will come off. So that is my first signature sewn in. Now I can remove clips. And then this is my first signature in my book. And I know my pages will stick out a little bit, but that is what I like. You can cut them down. If you find while you're making the signatures that they will come out of the journal a little bit, then just cut them off before you sew them in. So this is now the outside of the, come on camera, the outside of the journal, and this is my last signature sewn in. And now this part of my book is ready to journal on. Now I will put you on fast forward again, letting you watch me sew in all of the rest of the book. And if I find something while I'm doing this, then I will let you know, of course. But I think it's better if I fast forward you through this. And then I will see you again after I have sewn in all my signatures. Or maybe I will just, I don't know. Not quite sure what to do with the editing, but you will find out which choices I made once you watch this video, and then I also know the choices I made. Okay, see you later. Bye! So, I'm finally done sewing all my signatures. Well, it's not finally, because I had a great time with myself after I stopped talking to you guys and just went into the zone, put on some music. I was listening to Marco Borsato, for the ones wondering. It's a Dutch singer, so my Belgium and Dutch watchers will know him. And I was singing along with him. It went fine. So, this is now how the spine looks. Oh, my camera, focus please. Maybe I'll try it like this, and then yes. So this is how my spine looks right now. I love it. Everything is sewn in, and I will take this mat away, and now I will just do a check to see if every page is sewn in properly in my book. So that is what I'm going to do right now, and that way you also have a quick flip through. But I always like to do this to see if every page is sewn in properly at the end, because now I can still change it up and do my signatures again. But once I started a journal, I don't want to do that again. So this is my final check to see if the pages are proper sewn in. I love it. I love the feel for this journal. I'm very excited to start using it. As I see it right now and I flip through it, I feel very inspired and want to get creative with this journal. And I think I just put in the right amount of pages, not too much but also not too little, because the book can still lay flat. It has room to grow, but there is enough for me to work in this for a little while. Love the cover pages also. So until now it looks good. There's one signature I didn't put in quite as right, that hangs a little bit off the edge, but because of the brown paper that's also already outside of the cover, you don't really notice it, but I noticed it when I was sewing it in, that happened. So, but no biggie. It's a journal for me. It doesn't have to be perfect, although it did annoy me. I have learned to let things go, especially things like this, because it's just for me, it's for my pleasure, it's a crafting and it's handmade. I'm not a machine, and yeah, I'm just trying to let go of those things. I really enjoyed the journal I made. Oh, also I pulled my string too hard and then it broke on one signature, but it was with tying the knots, so I hope it will hold. Otherwise I have to redo it, but I was tying my third knot, so I think it will be fine. Look how beautifully flat this can lay. And we'll get better once the journal will be used, because then the papers are used to laying like this. Is this upside down? Did I do the signature upside down? Might be. No, it's just this paper. Oh well. No biggie. Let's see. So what do you guys think about the journal? I really hope that this tutorial helped you a little bit and that it was not confusing. I will know, look, this is the signature where I pulled the thread too hard. That's okay because the knot is already in there. So I hope it doesn't come off. I hope this was a bit helpful to see how I make my journals. I also bind a lot of my schoolwork together, so I do a lot of binding, but you don't really see me doing that. I also make my own pen pal journals. This paper is also upside down. What did I do with these papers? Oh well, but this one isn't. I think I didn't check well enough yesterday on how when I made my signatures, on how my papers were facing. Yeah, I didn't check well enough. Oh, well, it's okay. It's just a journal. I will get over it eventually. I'm glad this isn't upside down because that would have looked weird. I will probably stick photos and stuff on it anyways, so. But I think that everything is in there sewn in properly. Yes, at least it looks like it. Love these papers. Very happy. So yeah, everything is sewn in here properly. So now I will find a ribbon to put that under my binding and close my journal. So I'm back. I also cleaned the desk a little bit because it was getting crazy with all the scraps of paper and stuff. So I picked out this lace, and this lace is from Action, and it's a very cool color and a cool color of lace, and it matches perfectly the journal because I didn't want to do white because that's so stark white, you know. I wanted to have something that would be a bit different than usual. So now I'm just going to thread that under here, and 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take this one. So this is a little bit of a tricky situation, especially with lace, because it will come apart. Grab some scissors. If you have like a regular piece of ribbon, it would be easier to do this. I have done this before in the past. You know, you can do this. I think I will grab my owl and put it under here. Oh my god! I don't know why this is all of a sudden so hard. To everything I do when I'm talking and filming at the same time. Apparently I can't do this. So that's the first one. Maybe I should do this speed through and with music again, because apparently I work a lot better with music on instead of music off. So I think I will do that again. Look, it does work. You just need a little bit of patience. So I will speed through this and I will come back, or I will just cut this and whatever. I will come back once I've completed this step. So I did it, and yes, I did much better while the music was on and I was just singing. So here is the lace under the binding so it's secure there, but if it gets broken I can still swap it out, so that's also why I like doing this. And then I have this bow here to keep it all closed so nothing falls out. And the last thing I want to do is I want to make a pocket in the back, and I'm going to do that with the same paper as I used for the cover. I want to pocket in the back because sometimes I collect ephemera and I need to put it temporarily in my journal before I can journal it, so that is why I want the pocket. I'm going to put that in the back if I need more or if I want more. I'm a person who just does this along the way, you know, like the same with embellishing my journal. I do that while using it, and maybe I will add something to the cover, maybe I won't. I will start doing that while I use the journal, because then I get a feel for where I'm going with the journal. So yeah, this is all pure functional. I'm gonna measure how big I want my pocket to be. So I think about 14 centimeters. How much is 14 centimeters in inches? That is 5.5 inches. Okay, so I want to have it on 5.5. I'm going to use my trim and scoreboard from WRMK, and I am just going to make a pocket from this 5.5, 6, 6.5. So I want to cut it on 6.5 because I like to have score line of 1/2 inch. So my brain stopped working, and I think I'm going to cut it at 6. Yes. So then I will find my score tool. Oh yeah, it's over here. I score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides of my paper. I look where my score line is and I cut out a little triangle. I think you might see it better on this side. Maybe I should zoom in for this. Maybe you can see it better that way. So you see, camera? You see the score line. Do you see it painted this way? Or maybe I should fold it before. I think that will show it better. So because when you have this pocket, you have these squares here. After I folded them, there are squares in the paper. I hope you can see this. How I cut it along here until this little pointy point here, and then I cut it here, so it's more of a triangular shape. So I will show you. This is how I cut it off. That way it folds in nicely when I fold the pocket and want to glue it in. So I'm gonna do that again. I start around here until the point where the score lines meet, and then I make another corner like this. Then that's my pocket. I will zoom you out again so you can see the rest of what I'm doing. So here's my pocket, and I'm going to give this a good score like this. So, and what I think I will do is I will grab my circle punch and punch out half a circle on the top of this pocket, just because I like the look of it. Somewhere around here. And then only thing left to do is to glue it in the back of my journal. So that I can stick ephemera in here. So I just take some regular all-purpose glue. I'm going to put some glue on these edges, and I don't know what to do in the front of the journal yet. I usually leave that blank until I have more of a feel for my journal, because in the past I've made junk journals with too much pockets and I didn't use them. So I'm going for a new tactic. I'm going to add pockets when I need them in my journal. So, well, then this was my video on how I make my journals. As you can see, you can put it in here, but it still has to dry a little. I hope you found this helpful and you enjoyed this little tutorial. I don't know if I will give you an update on how I'm doing with this journal. Depends on how many personal stuff there's in there. Maybe I will do so. I don't know. Maybe I will set something up. I will decide that later on. But now you have seen how I made this gorgeous journal, and you had a little flip through earlier in the video. But this is my my junk journal. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope it was helpful. If it wasn't, that's also okay. Because I'm new at making tutorials. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you did like this video, please leave me a like. And I would love to hear from you if it was helpful and if you like this video. So leave me a comment. And I would love it if you would consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye!